Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Melos Machina. Hope that you have had a fantastic week. We are here again to jump back in to our session. Hi, friends.
Hello.
So good to see y'all.
Hello.
We are going to dive into today's session, but before we do, we got, I figure, a couple of announcements. First off, you may notice we are without our wonderful friend Z tonight. Miss you, Z. We will see you soon. Additionally, I'm sad to say this one, but also for good reasons, this is going to be our last episode for this month. We're going to be off for the next 2 weeks because somebody's getting married.
Uh-huh.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's coming up.
How you feeling?
Good.
Good.
All good things.
I'm
so
so
excited.
happy for you, man. Yeah, man, that happens here a lot.
Oh.
These guys.
Hey. I know, right?
Additionally, we'll be off for the next couple of weeks. We're going to miss you, but in the meantime, if you'd like to get caught up, you can find all of our episodes on YouTube.
Yes.
Right now, they're under the live tab, since we're now doing this live on both Twitch and YouTube.
I'm getting them all shuffled over.
We're going to get them all shuffled over.
Working on it.
But also, really quick, if you're enjoying our show and you'd like to support us, head on over to our social medias, but you can also support us over on Patreon. We've got some cool perks that are going to be coming over to our patrons and our subscribers, so keep an eye out for those. We've got some subscriber-only channels in our Discord, and that's where you're going to be seeing all of those posts. And finally, we've got a message from the continuing sponsor. I almost went into season 2 of the Gauntlet. Our continuing sponsor of Melos Machina.
Just because you made it, back off.
Hi. Is everything okay? Okay.
No.
Yes, it is time to thank our new sponsor of Melos Machina, Cantrip Candles. We are friends of them here at the channel, and we are so glad that they have chosen to sponsor us over here at Melos Machina. And in a way, to help you, they have given us a special coupon code to use at checkout, APAC, APACK, at checkout over at cantripcandles.com. You can get your very own handcrafted 100% soy candle meant to immerse you and your group and everyone into D&D, their TTRPG game, or hanging out and reading or writing. So you can get scents like Dungeon Depths, Stone Moss Chapel, Library Scriptorium, or Mountaintop. You can get them all over at cantripcandles.com. Go get your 10% off discount with our code and let them know who sent you.
It was us.
It was.
That was us.
Well, thank you, Ben. I really want to start burning them more in here. It's the like the stage manager brain of me that's like no flames on set.
We'll burn them off before I know people come in, but like it's not the
I
same.
will say there are, candle rules and regulations to make sure that they stay safe
That is
and
true.
healthy for you.
It's true. There's a warning label on the bottom.
And also, it's our set. Dang it.
We built it so we can
make
burn
the
it down. Do you like arson? Full circle.
Candles with an alibi.
Same scene, full circle. I don't know.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I think that's everything that we've got for today. So, players, are you ready to jump back in to Melos Machina?
Jump ship or?
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, here we go. When last we met our adventurers, watching the town of Riversmeet go far off into the distance, now getting your sea legs, you spent your first day aboard the Lockjumper, getting to know the entirety of the crew, meeting Jeffrin, the friendly deckhand who turns out to be the son of Captain Vilthuna, the elven captain with a hint of something other to him.
Mm-hmm.
And the cagey Hutch, who Aaron and Hutch had a little bit of a cage off. And though not a crew member of this ship, you met Claudine Timwell, the representative of the Silver Palm, a guild that deals in trade and overseeing fairness. You spent the better part of your first day really just getting to know the ship, having a meal prepared, making your own teas, and with Andy spending most of the time down below, taking a little bit longer to get her sea legs underway. First day has gone quite uneventful. As the evening progresses, eventually the sun setting in a very unlit and dim area. For those of you having not spent a lot of time in outside of cities or outside of any small encampment, you are seeing now that as darkness falls, it is that same deep, deep dark that you found in the wilderness when you had left River's Meet. But now on this ship, the light of 2 bullseye lanterns, one at the very bow and one on the stern, facing ahead to help light the entirety of the ship. The first evening, you rest in each of your chosen cots, gently swaying to the movement of the boat. You now have a good couple of days ahead of you on this ship. Is there anything in particular between this first day that you've had and now that any of you would like to do? Anyone that you would like to chat with? Anything out of just what is presented to you is the daily get up and be guests aboard this ship, as the captain has put it. There's nothing expected of you, though you have offered to be of use, but for the first time in a very long while, you have time to truly relax and do, if you want, nothing.
It is fantasy.
This is why we play the game.
I would love to, first thing in the morning, assuming that Captain Vilthuna is on deck.
You pop up, make your way up to the deck, and you see the captain there. It looks as though Jeffrin, his son, is once again at the helm. The captain is leaning against the side railing. It looks as though mid-conversation, but no quick back and forth, just a casual being there and spending time with family and doing a job.
I'll just go up and, excuse me if I'm interrupting.
Oh, no, of course. Good morning.
Good morning. It's one of the best nights I've had of sleep in a while.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Do you mind if I ask you a potentially personal question?
As long as you don't mind if I potentially don't answer the personal question.
Totally fine. Last night I was watching the handoff between you and your son. And when you got to the helm, it seemed like the boat responded differently. Don't know how to explain it, but...
What can I say? Captain and its ship.
Yeah, I suppose. Is that something that you picked up out here, or just you know what you're doing?
Well, a bit of both, you might say. The more you know, the more time you spend doing this, the more you know what you're doing. So I picked it up over the years.
It feels capable, definitely. And you're training Jeffrin well, seems.
He is picking it up quite well, and he walks over and places a hand on his shoulder.
It's a little smoother when you're behind, but it's...
He's still a little nervous behind the helm, isn't that right, Dad? That's Captain. Captain.
It's fine. I don't mean to cause any quarrel, but
None at all.
thank you. It's nice to just kind of relax for a bit.
Good, I'm glad to hear.
Well, I'll go see what's going on elsewhere, but again, if you need anything, we're all here literally at your whim, so.
Jeffrin, looking over at you, and also, should you be hungry at all, there's some morning porridge in the galley.
I am
So
sure.
the big pot. It's spoons in it. Help yourself.
Great. I will get to it before Duathi eats it all. And I will leave them to do their job.
All right.
At some point over the course of the trip, I would like to, depending on who's on board, I think I'd probably do it when the captain was probably steering, but if Jeffrin was helping out, I would like to ask him, okay, so this is a question. I promise it's going to be okay. I just want to make sure before I do this, because I really want to try something. If I get off of the boat, is there a way for me to get back on?
I would greatly appreciate it, actually, if you would not jump ship mid journey. When we get to Gladen, you're more than welcome to swim, if however you'd like to spend your time. But while we were underway, I would much prefer. Actually, no, I don't much prefer. It is a requirement that you stay on board.
Fair enough. Even if I can get myself back on.
That I have had people tell me that before. I am not doubting your capabilities.
Of course not. I would never assume that you would. Absolutely. Okay.
Thank you for asking. Not everyone does.
I mean, I don't know how the boat works, so if I was to get back off, if there's not a rope or something on the side, I could be in some trouble,
And so you are also already thinking more than many have.
All right.
There is absolutely no time for Finn to relax. There's so much to do, so much reading, so much code breaking, and so much writing and research. So I would definitely have busied myself for the rest of the first day and fallen back into reclusive habits as I spend much of my free time with Pal, trying to have conversations and learn, and also digesting Dr. Sada's notebook.
Now that we're into our second day, if you're focusing in on the notebook, go ahead, give me an investigation.
Absolutely. Oh, that's pretty good. That'll be a 21.
21. Nice. So on this second day, having had some food and pouring right back in, whereabouts would you like to be doing this?
If there is enough light down in the hammocks,
Sure, it's very
down,
well lit.
down there, definitely think better in the enclosed space. The wind outdoors is very distracting.
Of course. So in the bow where all of the hammocks are, it's a little distracting as the motion keeps you swaying in the net or in the hammock. But after a brief time, you realize that it's not the hammock that's swaying, it's the ship that's swaying, and you are staying stationary. And when you've had that adjustment, the distraction vanishes. It's well lit enough. There is a lantern that is radiating light throughout the entire space. Going over Sada's journal, it's still that it's not in a different language. It's just in that shorthand that you're familiar with your own.
Sure. I
But
do have a thought on how to sort of find a key or a codex.
Okay.
I would take the 2 scrolls that we recovered from Sada, and one being a spell that I clearly recognize as a spell, and the other being this blueprint of sorts, and try to find similarities in the spell notation versus the mechanical blueprint notation. Try to find some codex of sorts or commonalities.
So we'll say with the investigation investigation of 21, one thing you definitely notice is that the spell scroll and the blueprint, it is two different writings. So the spell scroll doesn't appear to have been penned by
That does make
Dr.
sense.
Sada. And the blueprints, most of it just appears to be quick words, and it's this sort of thing as if you were doing a rough sketch and writing markings down for you to later revisit.
Right.
Or maybe they were meant to connect to something else. Maybe there's another book or something that was the key or the master manual for blueprints that Sada made. You're not sure. You do have the revelation that within her shorthand, you are able to decipher a lot of it. Or at least get to a place where you can understand what she's saying. Most of it. When it comes to large creatures, giant spiders, giant wolves, you also find a section on something that looks more aquatic, has fins and an unfortunate sized mouth.
What a way to put it.
Yeah. And these are all written in a way that you can understand. But you've realized that when it comes to the rough sketches of the creature and other sections of her journal, it isn't just shorthand. There is a full code.
Oh boy.
Go ahead and mark down for me that you now have a second deciphering of her book.
All right. Excellent.
I'll come up to the hammocks with a fresh cup of tea for Finn.
Yeah, this is taking plenty of time, so there's...
Making any progress, are you?
I actually think I am, although it seems to be more complicated than I first gave it credit for.
Are you able to, dare I say, glean her mind, her greater workings from this?
Even if I crack this code, I don't know if there's a gleaning of her mind in here, but hopefully something that will lead us to her connection or where she went. But it seems she found certain areas to be worth a little more security.
In your time at the Atagog, Finn, did they give you any type of curriculum or protocol to follow should you find entities in the world that directly oppose the Order, like Dr. Sada might be doing?
No, I mean, outside of our duty to observe and report back, we aren't peacekeepers per se or enforcers. We leave that to the Guard and to the Order themselves. Of course, I should be notating everything we've discovered and reporting back. Again, as soon as I can establish another communication line. This whole trip is certainly taken longer than I expected, and they did not prepare me for everything we'd be undertaking, but I don't even think they would have known what to prepare me for, and perhaps that's part of the journey.
Perhaps.
This, connection you have, the, what did you call it, the emergency escape.
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that it's worth calling on that service now, but could we get into contact with the Order should we need to?
I cannot speak to the immediacy of the communication, but through a potential sequence of communication, yes, I think a distress signal could be sent if we felt the need so dire.
Good to know.
I would only. My hope is that if that time comes, it's when we have Dr. Sada by the neck.
I certainly hope so as well. Yeah, that's all good. I have been feeling a little bit thrown out to the wolves and flailing around, but I was reminded, well, we have a good friend in Andy and a good partner, and now new friends as well. And I think I'd been in denial about how easy this would all be. I just didn't want to admit to myself that, well, there's some history.
We're at the edge of the world, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
Expect the absolute worst and prepare yourself to do your best.
That's, my mother used to say that. She was a lawkeeper, actually.
Oh, how wonderful.
Well, my father doesn't think so. And,
What does your father approve of, if you don't mind my asking? If I've spent any of my time listening over the past few meals, your father's a rather critical man.
well, he's a man of high station and a lot of responsibility, and he takes his place in the order very seriously. So, if anything, he approves of that order and responsibility, duty.
Does he ever show any interests in the other parts of life besides just work? Must have some sort of hobby or indulgence that alleviates that stress of continuously grinding away at his job.
It's a distant memory now, but you could say his hobby was his love for my mother. But it's been a long time. A long, long time.
No need to divulge anything that you don't feel comfortable saying, Finn. This is still work to be done, but with many days ahead of us, if there's anything that you have never told anyone, or you feel like you need to scream to the wind, this is your opportunity.
Screaming into the wind is all I could do for most of my life, and well, outside of my journals, it's hard to share. As you could probably guess, my father wasn't one to talk about feelings much, and he didn't even like it when I poured them into my journals. In fact, took away the extra books at a certain point. Thought I was wasting time. Maybe he's right. There's as much about the world I don't know. People, I'm finding that out every day that I spend with you.
I should very well like to meet your father one day. And truly, not to... I'm just very curious to see what this man is like in person.
Well, for your sake, hope you don't have to find out. I'm looking forward to meeting your parents too, and I think, well, at least the way you talk about them, it seems like better relationship there.
Yes, more intact and more concrete, I would say, but nonetheless, we have our stories to tell.
I do appreciate the offer to stay at your estate instead of mine when we finally make it back to Sarah's Mena. Not that my father would refuse the hospitality, but I think he'd see it as an excuse to show off, like the overseer's dinner. And, well, a chance to interrogate my new friends. He wouldn't pass up, that's for sure.
Company will be welcome at the Kiedrithrin, so yes, I think that would be wonderful.
Thank you, Aaron. And it is nice to open up a little bit.
Of course. I'll leave you to your books. I feel the need to get some sunshine on my pale skin.
Yeah. Thank you for the tea.
Of course.
You make a good brew.
upstairs. Just head to starboard side railing and just enjoy the fresh air. At some point, I think I would change completely out of my leathers and just wear standard traveler's clothes that I've had on my person for a while. A sense of security has been established, I believe, after a night or two. And while Aaron's never been this long on a vessel, on a sailing vessel before, he does quite take to it. I do quite take to it comfortably and without issue. So, always a fly on the wall.
Really quick, Finn,
Yes.
what are you writing into PAL?
In regards to the work with Sada's journal or the other things?
Other things. And if you're looking to have a conversation, what is it that you're writing?
Well, there's two things. One is just I had not had time to journal much over the last week with all the activities and travel. So to be catching up on everything, complete summary of the week that we've spent in Riversmeet. But mostly in terms of conversation or exploring or experimenting, the way I map information by writing all over the walls, I'm not going to deface the boat, even though I know that we can erase it. So the thing I'd like to try to do is a mental mapping exercise where I close my eyes and project that web of information sprawling out, but in my mind's eye, and see if I can, anything from the book can be translated through thought.
Outside of the translating of the work, because you mentioned specifically you wanted to try and have a conversation with PAL.
Yes.
Feel free to let me know, take some time and have that conversation. Dorothy, did I see?
Only when this one's done, but I didn't think about it. But
Yeah. No, let's-
sure.
At some point, I would probably go and try and find. Is there a place where I can get higher on the boat?
There are 3 masts, and as you look up to them, the center mast does have, not a full crow's nest, a small platform on which there is a small railing. It's by no means anything that someone could stand in, but very clearly a platform. And as you look about it, there's notches, or pegs coming out, though not very far, but enough that you can get a grip on.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Here, let me see. I would ask first permission.
Sure.
Because that does seem very fair. If I could, please. If it would be all right if I would climb.
Of course, so go into the captain.
Would it be all right if I was to climb up the mast a little bit there to get a better view?
There's a moment where he kind of sizes you up, and are you much of a climber?
I can be.
That is possibly the most interesting response I've ever had to that question. Are you?
Well, I can become one if I use a little bit of magic.
I see. Any particular reason why you'd like to?
I'm trying to get a little bit of a better view of where we are and where we are going. I've never been anywhere around here before, so I'm having, just wanting to be, aware of where I am.
Give me a persuasion check.
Okay.
can't be. Dot, dot.
Oh, it is an unnatural 20.
Ooh.
You go right there.
He gives a smile, and there's a moment of maybe recognition of your excitement. I believe, here's what I'm going to tell you, and let me make sure that I get this right. The lock jumper is not responsible for any injuries that may come from any actions like this.
Oh, of course. Why would you be? I am the one doing the climbing.
Oh, not just me, but no, the lock jumper, the ship.
It is a boat. I do not believe a boat can be responsible
The
for
owners
anything.
of the vessel.
Well, they're not even here.
That's what I do at this time. Represent
Okay.
them as.
Oh, okay. Well, I can patch myself up if I fall down, so it will be okay. But I appreciate that you are looking out for me. Thank you so very much. Okay.
Be safe and.
Okay. So in this moment, what I would like to do is to turn into a small, fluffy gray cat,
Ooh, okay.
giving myself a climb speed of 30 feet.
All right. As you transform and shrink down in size into this little small gray cat.
And then I would like to climb up to the top. And as soon as I can.
As you begin climbing, Hutch is at the base of one of the other masts and kind of looks over. Yep.
All right.
I'll get up to the top where that little area is. Is there a place where if I was a human, or if I was an elf-sized person, I could sort of hang and like sit for a little bit?
Yeah, so the small space up here is large enough that you could easily sit on it. Maybe your back against the mast. In your cat form, plenty of space to just kind of sprawl out. But it's.
I suppose I do keep my perception being myself, Duati, as a cat, because that's, the druid things. Okay, so yeah, I'll just stay a cat, it's fine.
All right.
I can stay a cat for a little bit, it's okay. But if it's easier, I suppose it probably would be, because so I'll just sort of hang out up there. But particularly what I am looking for is I am looking to see if I can see the mountains that were near Upstrom.
That's a great question.
Roll for visibility.
I almost bought those weather dice. I really regret it. I need to do that.
So as you look about, from this vantage point, the view is vast. You can see towards your right, just open plains, and you can see the wind kind of bristling through it as if unseen waves rippling through tall fields of grass. Off in that distance, you see a small flock of birds fluttering around. At this distance, too far to make out what they are, but given a little bit of time, you see that their flight pattern is catching in, and they are riding these waves of wind. They too also just seem to be enjoying the day. To your left, well, more directly ahead, you see a wide condor flow that seems to be narrowing slightly. It is less wide than it was as you just left Rivers Meet the day before. Still big, but coming to a slight narrow. To the left, you can see that the woods that you had seen are still a ways in the distance, but where you seem to be in the Conderflow is now passing through this big field. The field stretches on both sides, and the forests are visible. Yeah.
So can I see the mountains?
You don't see any mountains. It goes on and on. You see the forests, and it fades into just a haze of distant view.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to take a second and just sort of breathe in the air a bit, and then I will. How long am I capped for? 2 hours. Okay. In that case, I'm going to probably stay up there for probably until it's pretty close to time, and then just sort of stretch out and keep watching all of the other animals and the wildlife go by, and try and remember everything that's floating by, and know that I probably won't, but I'll try to. And just sort of stretch out and feel the sun on my fur, and when it's time, I will crawl back down.
Okay. The day continuing to press on. Another meal is had. You find that it is the same lunch that you had before. Looks as though he had made enough for leftovers. As you were told at the beginning of the trip, it is nothing special, but will be filled. It was just as tasty as it was on the first day. And Finn, for you now actually having found a little more calm, you are truly able to enjoy it.
Good. Just don't look at the liquid sloshing, and I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah, give me another concentration check. Or Constitution.
Great.
Yeah.
Saving throw or just check?
Saving throw.
Yeah. Oh, that is a natural 20.
Yo!
For 22.
That's too nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Finn the Sailor Man.
We just save all those nat 20s for RP moments.
Yeah.
And, for things with a DC of 5. But, yeah. No, you have your legs.
Excellent.
After the meal, heading back to the bow, Andy there, who has done very little getting up and getting the food, just...
Settling in.
No.
Oh.
It'll take some time.
Yeah.
Or it won't. But at least Chauncey's got a nice stable footing there.
That's nice for him.
Yep. Well,
My boy. She just kind of rolls over.
I don't know if it would help at all, but if it got to a point where Andy really was struggling, I'd ask for her, ask if it was right for me to cast sleep on her to help at least just guarantee a good amount of time.
The Dramamine spell.
Yeah.
Seems to be less of seasickness and a combination of
Cool.
nerves that might be adding to it.
Yeah.
And she seems all right.
Cool. If you want something to take your mind off of it, or when you start feeling better later in the trip, we could definitely do some studying of Chauncey's behavioral patterns and phonetic properties.
She mostly is.
Another
It seems
time.
like she's listening, but
Another time.
so as you go to continue writing in your book.
Right, yeah. So, another, not a journal entry, but I treat these like letters almost, pen pal situation. And I think this time the topic would be on friendship and companionship, but also a confidant, and expressing how I landed on the name of Pal as a clever acronym, Personal Autonomous Library, and how I've really come to see that not as an acronym, but as a truth, and I see pal as a friend, as a pal. And
I'm gonna pause you slightly, because you're describing to me what you want to do.
right.
I want you to talk to Pal.
When I was little, and mother used to go on her grand adventures, she called me her pal, her little pen pal. And you have been a surrogate in a lot of ways. And I actually can't hold back the tears. It's strange now to have not just you, for others that I can call a pal. But it's so much harder to talk to them than it is to you, than it was to talk to my mom. I don't know if you understand what friendship is. I don't know if you have emotions. I hope you see me as your friend.
As you write that, the words are cataloged. And for a moment, the page vanishes. All the writing that you had written, except for 2 words: pal and friendship. But then the ink begins to form. And by the acronym PAL, an S is added to the end. And then all of your words come back on your own writing.
That's right. Pals. Thank you. I'm still learning what friendship means, what it means to be a good pal. And, well, thank you for helping me. I hope I do right by you, and I hope I do right by our new friends. And I hope someday they get to meet you too.
Leave it no more response. It's the rest of the night. The second day progresses. Another evening passes. It is on the 3rd day, towards the end of it, as nightfall comes in, you see rolling hills. The forest and the tree line coming in from the fields to the left. And the river continues to narrow. It's about the same length as it was when you were at River's Meet. And a tree line now coming in on the right bank of the river as well. And the hills begin to flow. And you find yourself now on approach of the river essentially winding through this valley of rolling hills to either side. You're anticipating this change of scenery, but as the air cools, a thick and heavy fog rolls in. As you progress, fog is so dense that you can barely see much less a boat length, 50 feet, maybe 20 feet ahead. There's a ringing of the bells. You see that Jeffrin essentially calling an alarm. But it doesn't appear to be, as you look about, the rest of the crew aren't running. There's no panic, but just more of maybe calling of station. Jeffrin rushes up and takes the helm from his father. Then heads back towards the light or the bullseye lantern on the stern of the ship and touches it. And as it does, the light emitted, you can see the candle inside growing, and the entire ship is illuminated. You're now able to see from the stern of the ship to the bow. There is visibility for the ship itself, but ahead of the ship, still nothing. At this point, 4 of you on the deck. The captain walks down. This sometimes happens when we reach this. We're just a day away from Gladen, but on chiller days, we can have some tight visibility.
Apparently. How long will this last about?
Not sure. It can last hours. It could last days. This could take us to Gladen.
Is it anything that we should be particularly worried about?
Worried? No.
Okay.
Not at all. We're just having to tighten up ship and keep an eye.
Okay.
How do you navigate in a show? We don't run a show.
It was a little bit by feel and a little bit with this actually feel. Excuse me. And he heads towards the bow. Same thing. He touches his hand to the underside of the bullseye lantern, and there's now enough light you can see as you look bits of the water ahead of you. Not very far. You've gotten now maybe a full boat's length. But you cannot see to either side. You cannot see behind you.
And just for clarity, when he's manipulating the lantern, is it like, do I get a sense he's using magic, or is it just the lifting of the hood on the...
Give me a perception check on
Sure.
this.
That will be 14.
14. Yeah, as he went up to the lantern, you saw him touch it. He took both hands, but you didn't notice any changing or manipulating. And you recall with the one on the stern, you actually the flame inside did grow.
Yeah.
You can give me a follow-up Arcana check
Yeah,
if you'd like,
absolutely.
but you didn't notice anything mechanical changing.
Wow, I'm on fire tonight. Let's hope if we hit combat, it sticks. That'll be a 21.
21.
Yeah.
You did also recall it does look like as his hand went up, there was movement, but not on the lantern itself. It looked like a somatic component to a spell.
Interesting. Keep that to myself, but respect goes up a little bit.
As he comes back, well, the views are much less. I'm glad that you got to see it the other day. But meal should be ready as usual. If you don't mind, we may be just a little more short and curt, but
Sure.
as he looks up and to Jeffrey and says, "Would you mind actually reeling it in just a smidge?" And looks over to Hutch, and Hutch dropped the forward and the aft. We're just going to go on the mainsail. That Hutch gives a nod and heads towards the bow mast and begins to pull on some lines. As he does, the sail is being pulled higher and higher.
Would it be alright if I did a really quick insight check? Not in like a, I think they're lying to me kind of way, but just in this situation is new to me and I'd like to see how worried they are.
Sure, so an insight for how worried,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Okie dokie, that is going to be a 23.
23. There's concern in his voice, but it's not worry, but concern. He seems to have this air of things have gotten serious, and now I'm still doing my job, but my job now requires focus.
Okay.
What's Claudine doing during all of this? This day specifically, I've kind of lost sight of her. I don't really care much, but now that the fog's rolled in, I'm just a little curious as to her reaction, not being of the sailing variety.
Sure. Within the last few days, and having spent some time just being a fly on the wall, you would have observed Claudine doesn't spend a lot of time
Up deck. Yeah, go.
You have noticed, now, give this to you, that she seems to be boarded up in one of the aft cabins. But looking about now, you look towards the stairwells where that head below, and you do see Claudine's head peeking out, looking about, just gauging everything.
You superstitious about fog, Claudine?
Wouldn't say superstitious. I'd say I'm just making sure everything's in order.
Not scared of the dark? No spooky ghouls gonna come jumping out at us, do you think?
No.
Fair enough. Just trying to get a sense of the seafarer's ways.
Well, when we make it to the sea, then maybe I'll be worried about things jumping out at us. If you'll excuse me. She heads down below.
I'd like to post up at the very front of the ship, facing forward.
Sure.
Just, I guess, my own precaution and anxiety would be like making sure that nothing's gonna just pop out of the river and us hit it like a rock or, sea monster,
Both equitably dangerous. I'm also.
Yeah.
Um,
Spiders.
If you do that at some point, I'd probably walk over and I would walk over and say a little under my breath. And I can just out of curiosity, how dangerous is this area? Do you know? I know you haven't been much this way, but
Well, we've made a couple of days without incident, so safer than the forest that we were just in, I would say.
it seems that way, and it does not seem that they are terribly like focused, but not really like worried about spiders, for example. But
No, but fog presents its own challenges. You see, when you're wandering and you don't have the flow of a river to guide you, you can get lost in the fog.
yeah,
So I'm assuming they're just worried about
okay.
what we can't see currently.
I just wanted to know if I should also be worried about a lot of, monsters or if there was anything in this area that people were worried about. But I don't think so. Just, making sure we are safe.
I think we're as safe as we can be.
All right.
Yeah. Did you see anything fun yesterday?
I saw a lot of planes and some birds and some trees. But mostly I did not see anything that I recognize.
What would you recognize these days?
Well, I was trying to see if I would see near where Upstream was, or any of the mountains near there, but I cannot see them anymore.
So we're pretty far from home for you then.
Yep,
Want to go back?
to Upstream?
Home.
Oh. I mean, I need to at some point. I'm having a lot of fun being here and eating all of the delicious meals and seeing all of these amazing and beautiful places, and I really want to keep exploring with all of you, and I like all of you a lot, and it's so exciting to meet new people and see new things and have all these amazing adventures, and I really want to keep having them, but I really do need to go home at some point.
Of course. I mean, you say the word and I'll go with you. You know that, right?
I still don't know how to get there, though.
Like you don't remember, or you just haven't found the path yet?
I haven't found the path back yet.
We'll find it. We'll go back to Upstrom. We'll retrace to where I found you. And we'll use deductive reasoning. I think that's the term. And we'll find your way back.
Maybe. But you know, maybe if I can find something like a map or something like that, maybe I'll see something on it that I recognize, you know? And maybe they have something like that in Venture or in Sheriff's Manor. And
They might.
They might. Finn says the lore keepers knows all kinds of things. Maybe they have like a big map or something, and maybe I don't remember ever any lore keepers coming to my village or anything, but maybe, well, no, I don't know. But maybe they at the very least know something about where it is.
It's in the mountains, you say?
I don't know. No. Over them, maybe? I don't know.
Would I have heard stories, or I have a couple of questions. One is the prevalence of maps post Ashen Vale.
Sure.
Like what would be known of the outside world?
Give me a history check.
Everybody's favorite.
That's a
role.
10.
My favorite.
So you know that. Let me get my timeline here.
History check again.
You know that now, post the enclosure, and during that time, much of the outside world was kind of not lost, not forgotten, but it had been so long it just wasn't. And the knowledge was the walled cities and the lines that connected them. Because for so long, that's all that mattered. And post the now in the open era, there is no, well, here's a map of now what exists, at least as far as you know. Because since it is still very fresh and very new into this changed world, mapping it is not, I mean, for you, this is the first time this idea of going out and mapping is really coming to mind. So to your mind, you don't know of anything that exists, you don't know of any efforts for doing it. Because for so long, the only thing that mattered was those cities. And then for you, after the open era, the destination.
Okay. And then my second question, do I know of any settlements in the mountains or over the mountains?
Yeah, absolutely. You do know that, let's see here. You know that Nereth Cadril, one of the walled cities, is the city within the mountain. You know that the rail led there and that this city was built into it. Now that the open era has happened, and similar to how there are frontier towns near Saros Manor, obviously there must be some frontier towns near Nereth Cadril. Andy has even mentioned as such being from one.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's about all you have.
Well, there's not much that we know these days. But, you know, Finn is pretty good at remembering and drawing things. Maybe we can start asking him to be the first to map this wide open space. We're on the frontier, you know? But if we get back to where I found you, maybe we can look for things that you remember and see what jogs your memory.
I don't remember a lot.
I know.
Not a lot about how I got there anyway.
I mean, I'm glad I found you at least.
Me too. But yeah, at some point, I know that they need me back home. I know I need to go back.
Did you leave the faucet running?
No, it's hard out here, you know, and people like me, there's not a lot of us, and I can do so many things that there's so helpful to keeping so many people alive, you know, and I wasn't supposed to go anywhere that far, you know, because I was important like that, because I can help things grow and help people, and there's not many of us, so
The ones with your gifts? Your brothers, did they have the same gifts as you, or primarily guards?
no, they did not. They were guards and hunters and things, so
Different kind of protection.
different kind. They went out more. And you know, that's how Lauren, my older brother, that's where he died. So yeah, I wasn't supposed to go out that far.
Sounds familiar. I just scoop my cloak around Duathi and scooch her in a little bit closer.
It's a good cloak.
Well, I know that you weren't supposed to go very far.
Yeah.
And now we've gone much further than you probably ever should have.
Yup. Yup.
So, they can't be too mad if you go a little bit further before we get back, right?
I suppose.
We'll get answers.
Yeah.
We'll find our way back. Do you have anything from home that we can, besides you?
Nope. I don't even have my good stick. I got this stick
You
in
have a better
Upstirl.
stick than that?
No, I mean, it was my stick before this stick. This is just, you know, another stick. But no, I just have myself. I did not have anything when I got lost. But you know, they probably think I am dead. So I don't suppose they can be too mad when I come back, you know. They hopefully will be very excited.
I would hope so. It'd be weird to get mad at you for being alive.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get you back to help. You just have to go on this adventure first.
Yeah.
And try to remember anything that you can that will get you back.
Yeah. I remember there were mountains.
Okay. Cold?
Little bit.
Okay. That's something.
At this point, where have the two of you been this time?
I think I was kind of seated on midway down the steps leading up to the helm,
Gotcha.
on starboard side, kind of just mindlessly shuffling the playing cards that I have, kind of just peering out, wondering if as the river is widening or narrowing, GM, does it seem like there's any risk of running headlong into an oncoming ship? Or is the river still wide enough for two to pass without issue?
Oh, very much.
Okay, cool.
Very much still wide enough. You could have 6, 7, 8 boats
Okay,
across
cool.
and still probably miss one.
A whole regatta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I'm concerned about at this moment, but yeah.
While you're sitting there, Jeffrin comes up to you and so we're going to be moving a little bit slower now that we're making our way through this, but dinner is still to be served, and unfortunately we won't be making it to Gladen early in the morning, but we should still be able to get there by not much of a delay. To be perfectly honest, we made enough headwind. We should have been there shortly this in this evening, but should we wake you with bells? It's us signaling to the dock workers. So
Sure.
I hope that you enjoy the rest of your evening, and I unfortunately won't be able to be down to serve you all, but food will be self-served tonight. I'm going to make something nice and warm for you.
Would you like an extra set of eyes with this fold this evening?
I think the captain's got it. Thank you, though.
Sure. Insight check.
They're nice. Insight check.
That is a 13.
13. He is saying the captain has it with the confidence of someone who trusts in the person in authority and is very grateful they are not that person.
Sure.
Good at that.
Just keep on shuffling. Kind of working on trying to work on palming a card, but it's probably not going too well.
Yeah.
But with a little bit more practice, I could probably get good at it. My hands are big enough.
Jeffrin comes around and relays the same message that dinner will be ready when it's ready, but it'll be self-serve, and that we may be getting there either the wee earliest of the hour of the morning, and apologizes for the ringing of the bell, but we should be in Gladen in the morning.
Jethrin, I heard that there were some ruins near Gladen. Is that something that we'll have time to go visit during our stopover?
Well, it's more of near in that it's nearby in the greater scheme of things. Between actually Gladen and Venture, you should actually be able to see them from, if not from the boat, from maybe the mast.
Excellent. Well, I'd very much appreciate it if you let me know when that opportunity is coming. After our stopping Gladen, I'd like to see them for myself. I'm very curious.
We may not be able to make a stop, but you can see
that's
them.
fine. From the mast, the crow's nest, I think you call it, right?
Yes.
That would be perfect. Just when you get a chance to see part of the old world.
Quite frankly, this one's not that impressive.
Well,
I'm sure you've probably seen far more interesting works yourself.
I can't say that I have. At least not out here. Not with my own two eyes. Even the least impressive rock. If you know it's over 500 years old, that is quite impressive.
I suppose, yeah.
Do you know what they were ruins of? What the structure was before?
Oh, I have no idea.
That's all right.
Um,
Well, yes, I've been spending a lot of time below decks, so if we happen to be passing and I'm not on the deck, the upper deck, will you come grab me? I know it's a few days off, but...
yes, of course.
All right, thank you. And you are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, food's good, hospitality is excellent.
Well, you have been an excellent guest.
I try to stay out of the way.
That is what makes you an excellent guest.
Perfect. We are on the same page.
Right, well, back to my duties.
Right,
Essentially, I'm going to
Don't
head
let
down
me
below.
keep you.
Well, that Jeffrin pops down, and it seems as though the initial wave of fog might have interrupted his meal prep.
There are ruins?
Right, yes, somebody mentioned it the other day, just kind of offhandedly, but I'm
Oh.
curious.
Wow. Like from before?
Before, I mean, that is my guess, who knows, though.
Oh, fascinating.
Justin didn't seem to know much, so, but maybe we can glean some insights and...
I mean, I would like to see them too.
All right, well,
If we can, I would like to, I'll take a look too, just because I'm sort of curious
awesome.
what they look like.
Do you or I can cross over any structures like that, old ruins, rubble from before, in your travels?
I mean, we didn't on the way down. Would I have seen anything on the way from the wall to home or home to upstream?
Notebooks coming out.
All the history checks did. Scott, do you have a map?
No. Make a perception check. You recall there was a selection of ruins that you had passed. It long while ago, though your memory is not faded. You remember taking a stop at what at first you thought were overgrown, just fallen trees and plants had overtaken them. But you do remember actually finding the remnants of an old metal sheet and embedded into what you realize must have been a wall. Not a massive wall by any means. It could have been something that had been part of a small home, a small building. Maybe where you were, what you had found was maybe 7-8 feet tall by 4 feet wide, but decayed and crumbling. And you realize that this was reclaimed by the earth. But when asking about it, it was essentially mentioned that this was remnants of the old world. Or at least it must have been, as this was the first encounter of it.
The metal sheet embedded in the wall, did it look like something that somebody would have done with purpose? So like it was part of the architecture versus...
Yes. It stands to reason it could have been a door, or at least what remained of it.
I mean, I've only seen one on the journey, so they're pretty rare.
I'm just curious, really. I don't know how it pertains to our work or anything, but I mean, Melos Machina is quite old, but out here it's also fresh. Curious what it used to be like.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think most people alive right now have any idea what's beyond those walls. Where we are now is unheard of for most people in Melos Machina.
I've read lots of books about the time before, but nothing prepared me for this. Seeing it myself, seeing how rugged it all is, how little there is.
Yeah.
This big wide world of nothing left.
I mean, for there to be nothing left, there sure is a lot to see still.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how much of it was around before the enclosure or after, but it's cool to see.
When you left with your people, did you have a destination in mind, or did you just set out in a direction and stop when you felt like it?
I mean, we listened to where we were going, but we had a little bit of an idea, yeah.
How'd you settle on that?
I wasn't part of those decisions. I was still fairly young. I mean, I'm still young, but, like,
Well,
I don't know. I didn't ask my parents, I just trusted them and went with them. I mean, it was that or stay alone in the city, and family is everything, so.
well, it's not everything. But would you have wanted to go if it wasn't for them?
I don't know. I was always curious about the world beyond, but I was happy with my work too. I could have gone either way, but when it was time to make the decision, I couldn't say no to them. You know?
I understand that. Interesting, though. The way you talk about the order, your distrust, and the way you seem to thrive out here, I figured it was your decision to leave. You seem to have certainly made it your own.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it was my decision to make. I didn't have nearly the amount of fealty for the order as I do for my family, and guards are cheap. You know? The firstborn, not so cheap.
Oh, here they're everything. You certainly don't see you as a cheap commodity. In fact, you've proven quite valuable time and again, so I'd give yourself a little more credit.
I am concerned how many times I've had to play guard duty out here,
Yeah.
off the job.
Well, sorry to put you to work. You're certainly making mine easier.
Well, you're certainly gonna have a lot of stories to say when you get back to the Adergog, yeah?
I don't even know where to begin.
Let's
And
see.
how much is relevant.
Did they give you any idea what you were actually looking for?
No, I mean, the specifics, no. The possibilities, absolutely, yes, sure. Technologies and automation and all sorts of potentials and... look, we've had plenty of hands-on experience, but there's nothing like venturing out yourself. And in terms of the actual... this particular excursion, it was very open-ended. Just Aaron had signaled some sign of disturbance, and he would fill us in when we arrived as our point of contact. And since then, it's just been a mystery that continues to obfuscate itself as it unravels. So,
How certain, and this might feel like a thing to ask kind of late, how certain are you that the Cracker Jack is what you were looking for?
Well, reasonably so. It is everything that Aaron's warnings pointed towards. The complicating factor is the beast, whatever that creature was. I don't know that they're tied, but two potential contrabands of different makes and models in the same place is quite a coincidence. But again, it's my duty is to discover, to learn, to observe, to bring back what I can. Leave it to the higher order to sort out what to do from there.
I do not envy them untangling all of this.
I'm worried they're tangled in it already.
I mean, obviously they had some sort of knowledge, so...
Yeah. No, I should have
Looking over, you see Jeffrin. Dinner's ready. Please help yourself. There should be enough bread, and the patties are there.
Do you need me to bring you any or the crew any once we are done eating?
Not at all. Thank you, though.
Of course.
Help yourselves. I'll be up here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did I get a sense he overheard much of that? Passive perception, or?
What is your passive?
That's a good question.
Mine is 20.
Mine is a 17.
Mine's only 12.
But I
alright.
wasn't on 13.
You got the sense that the throat clearing was an immediate, as soon as he came out from the stairs, was, there's a conversation, a time to be polite. You don't think he
Good
overheard
kid.
anything.
Good kid.
My face definitely went a little flush as I turned and discovered he was there. So, right. Well, shall we have some food?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, we should try to sleep as much as we can, but this fog, I've never liked fog.
No?
I kind of find it soothing in a way.
It is, but there's just this unworldliness. It makes something that you find familiar completely change.
Well, you see, I don't find any of that out there familiar, so in a way it's kind of comforting. It's a blanket.
Suppose you're right. Make my way down to the galley.
You find actually in the room with the large
Oh, the
table,
food.
Oh, yeah.
the food has been splayed out, and there is a large platter with a selection of, looks like pieces of toast with seasoning and some, maybe like a light salad on it. But next to that is a large tray in which there are a selection of what look like patties of either baked or seared meat, but not a red meat. But it appears seasoned and seared on both sides.
Like crab cakes?
Crab cakes?
Could be.
I'm just gonna chomp into one.
Yeah. I don't care particularly. I'm just going to eat it.
Yeah.
You taste and bite into it. It is similar, but it's made with fish. It's as if the meat has been kind of packed in, so it still kind of falls away on the mouth, but it does have a less of a fish fillet and more of a patty of seared fish.
Did they prepare food like this at all in Saros Manor, or like in my experience, or is this like a completely new kind of?
This one's a little. The presentation is not very not what you would have done, and it is simple and it is tasteful, but you don't ever recall having just like a patty of fish meat before.
I'll have to make note of this and try it sometime.
I am just eating it.
Mm-hmm.
This is very good.
Evening progresses. Night come. Well, night was already here as the fog had rolled in. And,
As soon as I would like to, as soon as I am done trancing, sort of keep an ear.
sure. So as you fall to your trance, and each of you taking your rests. For those of you who need little time, you're able to come to. More hours go by. Then you just hear a soft ding ding, ding ding, ding ding, doesn't seem to be coming from the bell that is affixed to the ship. It is quieter, and though oddly enough, is coming from directly above you here on the bow. Ding ding, ding ding, ding ding. And then you hear there's a pause. And in response, ding ding, ding ding, ding ding. Coming from far, far ahead. And with that, we're going to take a short break, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be back here in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you shortly. Welcome back, everyone. Hope that you enjoyed your break. We are back at it again, and before we dive back into this, just a couple of quick reminders. If you're liking this show, feel free to give us a follow here and on all of our social medias. You can check out our website to see links for our sponsor. I just lit a brine water tide because it felt very appropriate. Also, if you'd like to support us, you can head on over to our Patreon. We expect nothing but appreciate everything. So, as the bells ring in the distance, what would you like to do?
I am bolting up the stairs to see land and see this new, like as we pull in. I just want to see if there's not any fog, I should say.
I would, as soon as I can, was about to see, sort of. Whoop.
As, Finn, what's your passive?
Only 12.
12? Yeah, I'd say your choice if you want to sleep through the hearing of your companions.
Well, I'm a morning person, or Finn is.
That is right.
I am
Yeah.
not, but Finn is. And I know Andy is not a morning
Andy is
person,
very much asleep.
and with all the seasickness, I'd go make sure Andy is getting up with the good news that we are approaching a port.
As you give a jostle to Andy, there's a fine. As you all head up top, you look ahead, and indeed, the fog has cleared. Or at least you're within a clearing of it. As you look out, there's still that early morning fresh mist in the air, and you can see that you are well in these massive rolling hills that are sprawling to either side of you. Less so on the right, but hill upon hill reaching off into the distance in the left. And you can see above in these hills, it's almost as if you're nestled in a small collection of clouds. But it is still the fog. It is rolling above you, it is rolling into the hills, but where you currently are is open with a crystal clear view. And up ahead, where the light of the bullseye lantern still glowing very brightly, you can see the captain there with the bell that he has been ringing, now returning back to the helm. But off in the distance, sitting on the edge of a much calmer. The current of the Condor flow is moving, but it's almost glass-like at this area.
Nice.
There's a small dock with a 2-story building and a small warehouse up ahead. It is the only small structures that you see, except for a 3-storied crane that is sitting on the edge of the dock.
You said 3-story?
Yep, 3-story crane. A small tower of a structure. You can see through it. It looks like it's mostly structural foundation, and the long arm of it with a hook dangling is still far enough in the distance as you are pulling up. It's getting closer and closer.
And it's early morning?
Very.
Dawn?
Just barely the
Gotcha.
crack.
Well, it's not our final stop, but it'd be good to stretch the legs a bit.
This looks amazing.
It's beautiful.
Very excited. You know. Did you want to try and see those ruins? Did you say that we would not be able to get to them?
Jeffrin did make it sound like they're a little too far away for a day trek, but we can see them from the boat after we set sail again.
Okay.
But I am
They're, like,
interested.
between here and there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, when it's time, you just let me know and we can try and get up there.
When he lets me know, I'll let you know. And, well, I can't turn into a cat, but
I could try and turn into something a little bit bigger and carry you, unless you think you're going to be okay to climb it. I probably wouldn't be. It just looks a little, more than I probably am able to do, but
We'll figure it out when the time comes. In the meantime, we going into town shopping?
I would love to. I'd love to go talk to people and see what they have and what they know about things in the area.
Yeah, that sounds excellent.
And Finn, as you say the word town, you realize you just see the one structure.
Right.
And for everyone looking, can I just get a general perception?
It's probably just that.
That's correct.
18.
22.
20.
16.
Each of you,
We're the masters now.
looking over at the dock, you see a small, well-trodden dirt path that leads away, and you follow it as it vanishes into the hills, but your eyes continue to see where they go. And you see nestled into the hills a small town, as if almost part of them. And though you aren't within earshot of it, the moment that you see the small waterfall, you almost hear it on the inner ear of the rushing water that must be Gladen.
That looks peaceful. No wonder Claudine wanted to vacation here.
Oh my gosh, we should definitely go.
How long do you think it'd take to walk that path?
Not long. It doesn't. I mean, if you can see it from where we are, nestled amongst the hills.
It looks like a fair trek, by foot, maybe an hour.
Okay, yeah, that's not.
Not so bad, and we're going to be here until tomorrow morning, right?
Right.
I believe so. Yeah.
We should definitely go.
Henry, would
As-
you like to sleep in not the hammocks tonight?
That sounds really nice, to be honest.
It's,
Yeah, I'm waiting for that dock to come, you know?
Should we bring the cart with us? Just in case we acquire anything that needs to be returned?
If it's up in the hills, I think it probably might be a little bit of a
That'll slow us down a
little
bit.
bit of a pain. But if
Cumbersome.
we need to, we could always. I could become a horse, and between me and Chauncey, we could probably. It wouldn't, be effective long term, but from here to there,
Sure.
we could make it happen.
At this point, you hear a piercing shrill whistle coming from the captain. You can see he's got a small whistle that he has palmed in his hand, and he puts it down. As if on cue, both Hutch and Jeffrin rush to the side of the ship, one at the bow, one at the stern. As you approach, you see standing at the dockside a large, broad, half-orc woman, hair pulled back in braids, and she is wearing almost like a chef's smock, but it's folded over into an apron, and is, though not dirty, definitely not clean. And you just hear her call out, "Hands!" And that her hands are open, and Hutch at the bow chucks the rope. She catches it, and with a good sturdy pull, you can almost feel the bow of the boat take a little bit of a jostle towards the side.
I would like to run over to the side of the boat and excitedly lean over and watch everything that they are doing.
As you watch, you can see the boat is still coming in, not at a fast pace, but it is nice and slow, and the drifting of the ship is going and going. As soon as Hutch has thrown the line, you can see that he rushes over to the mainsail, which has mostly been pulled back. There's very little of it left open, and he takes a rope and gives it a tug, and the whole sail just folds into itself. As Dwathi, you look forward, you can see that now that the ship has come to the side of this dock, the half-orc woman is digging in and pulling and essentially trying to offset the forward momentum of the lock jumper. You hear a thud thud, as you turn and you look back, Jeffrin has jumped from the stern, the upper railing of the ship, and wraps the rope around one of the wooden pillars that is creating this small dock, and is now giving opposite pull as the ship is moving forward. The rope, he's losing gain on it, but clearly offering now more tension, all in an effort, and slowly the ship just and is now resting perfectly gentle against the dock.
Everyone is doing such a very interesting job.
Interesting job. That's right. Now that we're closer, the crane, does it appear to be for unloading and loading of cargo, or for construction?
As you look over, it looks to be on some metal rails that are built into the dock, so very clearly able to move in some directions, but is definitely set up in such a place that it can go over a ship.
Is that how we're getting Chauncey down?
And as you look over this area, you can see, as I mentioned, there's the crane rests next to this 2-story building. There are lights flickering from the inside, and it seems to be either a large inn or a place of gathering. Across the way from it is a smaller structure, fewer windows, a couple of them that appear to be latched shut, but one massive sliding door. And to the side of this, you can see a few carts that are resting with cargo in them. The orc woman looks up and says, "Well, hello to all of you. You seem to have a good crew here."
We're not doing much of the work, but we're here.
You can see this woman is, even for a half orc, broad, and her voice comes deep. Like, well, are you here to stay? Are you here to go? Are you coming in for the town? Are you coming in to rest?
Just a brief rest, and they need to stock up on some supplies, but we are very excited to see the town.
I think we'll only be here for the night, but while we are, we thought we would go explore and see everything that this place has to offer.
She looks back and, "Captain, good to see you." And you as well. Well, welcome on in. My husband is inside and will be able to take anything that you need. Welcome to Wayland's Wait House.
And that's, is she gesturing to the inn, the 2-story building? Okay, cool.
Oh, amazing.
Do you have accommodations for the night? I think all of us would like a night off the ship, and that way we're close for setting sails tomorrow.
Anything you need, head on in.
Oh, all right. And
Amazing.
Wayland is your husband, or
Or yourself?
Well, it's us,
You-
yes.
Or
the
your...
Waylands? Ah, excellent. Well, nice to meet you.
But if you don't mind, I have a job to be doing, and that she puts her fingers in her mouth and gives a whistle, and you can see there's a figure who, resting against one of the carts, just and comes on over and begins hauling over a cart, while she heads on over to the crane and begins to pull it on over. You can see Hutch now on deck is heading to the cargo hatch and has already opened it. Appears as though there is a little rest for the crew at this time. Now that they've arrived, they're going to get everything going that they can.
Is it called a gangplank for us to walk
There is.
off
It has
onto?
Very good.
a gangplank has been latched down. Hutch had pushed down for Jeffrin to get back on. The same plank that you took when you boarded.
I will stand up, kind of reach my hand down for anybody who needs assistance, and just get off the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
You hop down, peering back, you can see You can see Claudine now with a small ledger in hand. Is coming up, says, well, time to get the work done, I suppose. And as soon as she comes up to the railing, you can see this just deadpan look changes to a bright smile.
Customer service.
Yep, we've been there.
I will just skip on down and into the town. Oh my goodness gracious! I cannot wait. We should go on the hike and go and see whatever that is. Oh my goodness gracious!
Do you want to reserve a room first, or should we just
Probably
head up
should.
in the
We
glade?
should if everyone wants to spend the night not on the boat. I don't mind. I'll sleep anywhere.
It is kind
you
of
know,
peaceful with the rocking, although now that we're stationary, I don't know if it will be. So
But it could be fun to stay here and see what it's like in this building also.
why not?
Take in the sights.
All right.
Sure.
So go see Mr. Wayland and book a room, and then we'll head up to Leyden proper.
Yeah.
Sounds
let's- Let's book.
good. Head on in, and Chauncey, he can make it down the gangplank on it.
Oh yeah, it's
It's a freaking plan.
it bows a little bit as Chauncey hits the middle, but it's he is now that you've gotten to know Chauncey, he is for his size surprisingly light, but for a creature made purely of metal,
Still got some heft. Yeah.
Chonksy.
Chauncey.
Chunks. I'll go up to him, and once he gets done, make sure that his flower crown is still on and that it is blooming, because we are about to go meet new people, Chauncey. So we must make sure that we are, all looking our best.
as the flower crown had wilted slightly during the passage, spending most of his time with Andy, but the flowers just opened back up.
Oh my goodness.
Wow, I've gotten sloppy as I too notice that some creases in my trench coat, and using prestidigitation just kind of smooth it all out and make sure we do look presentable for a good first impression. Anybody else?
I'm wearing linen. It's pretty much always wrinkly.
Fair.
I don't
think I-
think about it all that much.
I'll have donned my leather armor again, knowing that we were coming into port after I tranced.
Sure. So yeah, but I'll say between seeing the town and all of this, you could have gone down, redonned.
I don't think my clothes have really ever been all that clean. I mean, I washed them, but not like your clothes.
It's part of your charm.
We're unlikely to meet another overseer here, so there's no need for any decorum, but just be as polite as we were in Rivers Meet, and I'm sure the town will take us.
We are so charming.
We are incredibly likable.
Yes.
And hopefully no ships will crash or fires will start that we get wrongly blamed for.
We are doubly more safe and secure in our landing than Fairbanks made.
Yes.
So,
That was quite impressive, actually.
Let's go inside and get the room.
All right, lead the way.
As you open the door to this small two-storied structure, immediately you are met with a smaller sort of tavern space than what you're used to. There are a couple of tables that are have small candles lit on them. And immediately as you come in, there is a wide counter space. Behind this counter, you see a collection of bottles and glassware. To your left, you see an open door leading into what looks like a bunkhouse. You see lots of freshly made beds. Appears from this angle mostly empty, but with the door wide open. To your right, you see a set of stairs leading to the upstairs section. The second floor that you were able to tell from the outside perspective takes up about half of the space of the entire structure. But there's nobody seated at the bar, nobody seated at any of these tables. But you do see a sort of young, middle-aged human that is walking about and blowing the candles off at the tables as he looks up. Oh, hello there. Welcome on into the White House. Can I get you anything? We've got fresh food. We've got fresh drink. I've got Well, I've got anything that you might need while you're here waiting for your next part of the voyage.
Sure. I know that we were hoping to make how many rooms do we want? I don't know.
I mean, is it just the bunkhouse, or are there private rooms as well?
Oh
or-
yeah, no, we've got the bunkhouse if you're looking just to, rest up. But we've got some fancier private rooms upstairs if that's more to your fancy.
I don't care particularly. Like I said, I will sleep anywhere.
My gosh, it's really early in the day.
We just came in on the lock jumper.
Right, we're already thinking about not sleeping on the boat. Then,
Just for one night,
gosh, right.
I've never stayed here before, so we might as well, stay here. And we've stayed on the boat
Oh,
already.
you do look like fresh faces to me, so it's yeah.
Take that as a compliment.
Can I get you anything to drink, anything to start your day off?
Some brekkie.
Yeah, I would think if you have whatever is for breakfast, I would take a little bit.
Absolutely.
Something quick though, nothing to weigh us down. We do have an itinerary to keep to.
Oh, you got schedule everything.
Oh.
We were going to walk up to the pretty stuff.
Walk up to the going up to Gladen itself. Yeah.
Right.
No, it's a good trip that you can make.
Right, and the rooms are for later, but we didn't know how busy you'd be, so if we need to put in a reservation or...
No, honestly, not at all. It's the sort of thing where we tend to have people staying here when they're waiting for the boat to
And
come.
hence the name, I assume.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. But
Good branding. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll come back later then, and if
Rest
people want
our
to
head.
stay on the boat, they can stay on the boat, or whatever.
But then
Sure.
we can grab a little bit of breakfast then.
Yeah.
What is for breakfast?
I can make you I can make you a few different things. I've got I could do some pancakes. I could do some porridge.
Do you have eggs at all?
I can make you up a scramble if
That'd be
if
great.
that's yeah.
Wouldn't mind a plate of fresh fruit if you could.
Or I pretty sure I could do some of that. Yeah,
And tea?
yeah, I can make. Let's see here.
Hot
So
vocal.
we're looking for. I've got pretty much two different options for you. If you're looking for hot meals, cold meals, and tea, we've got bark tea.
Bark tea.
Mhm.
Well, let's give it a try.
All right.
I would take some pancakes, please.
Okay.
And a cold meal here. Simple enough for me. A
Cold
cold
for-
meal, yes. Whatever
Alright.
that is.
Let's see.
Just every session, we're like, and what's for lunch?
We love
Shopping and eating.
Describe all the food. Scott's job. The food descriptions.
And I just want to make sure that there's no misunderstandings here. Simple meals are going to run you back 6 silver. Hot meals are going to, 6 copper. Hot meals are going to run you back 4 silver. Tea box is going to be 2 copper. And anything else I can get for you.
I think that'll
perfect.
that'll do for now.
All right, Will.
Oh, your name,
Fish out.
I suppose.
Oh, of course, Trubin.
Truman.
Trubin.
Trubin. I'm so
Trubin
sorry.
Wyland.
Oh, very, very nice to meet you. Finn, Andy.
Aaron. As I sift through my coin purse looking for 6 copper.
Truman Wyland.
I'm Duarte. So for the pancakes, it would be 6 silver?
4 silver.
4 silver. Okay, that is fine. I would, if I have a gold, could they give me change?
Yeah, I can change.
Amazing.
You're getting so good at paying
Yeah.
for things, Duarte.
I actually I have 4 whole gold.
And as you
Well, now I have
pay, he gives you the 6 silver in exchange.
Thank you.
And that is, make yourselves comfortable. I'm gonna be in the kitchen.
Excellent.
Thank you. So, are we, after he's out of earshot, anything in particular that we're looking for while we're in town or just sightsee?
I'm more curious to see who lives in this town as opposed to anything specific. If there's, yes, some attraction or notable local provisions that are unique to this area, of course, yes, let's familiarize ourselves with that. But seems to be another frontier town, a way stop between Venture and River's Meet. Who knows what characters live up in these hills?
I'm looking for a few specific components, but something tells me they might not have them here. So make a quick stop by whatever market they have. And I'm mostly curious. Claudine says she vacations here. I couldn't have imagined anybody vacationing anywhere out in the frontier. So
I mean,
very curious.
Beautiful.
It is. But yeah, sightseeing.
Great.
You were looking for flowers, Dorothy. Maybe along the way we'll
I
find
was
some.
going to look for some.
We're gonna
probably.
pick so many flowers.
You know, take a look, see if there's anything that, you know, I can ask about and see how it works, and also just, you know, look around.
At this point, you hear ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Looking up at the counter, you can see 3 bells that are mounted onto the wall on like wrought metal that seem to be hanging there, but you can see a string attached to each of them and then go upstairs.
Room service.
This is fancy.
Yeah, seriously. Which bell rung?
Yeah, does it seem to like correlate to like some like a room number next to it so that they know who's ringing?
It looks like it was the middle one.
The middle
Okay.
But you don't see any number associated
Are
with
they all the
it.
same metal? Like is one gold and the other silver?
They are 3 different sizes.
This is our
Oh.
Oh, 'cause they
platinum
make
tier
different
room.
sounds. They can hear it.
Makes sense.
Well, so somebody's here.
Yeah.
That's great.
Wonder if we'll have new passengers with us on the way to
Right.
Venture.
I wonder how many people live in a village this size.
I don't know. My guess is it's a little bit bigger than Upstrom, but smaller than River's Meet. But I don't know.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Oh, Finn.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit. Are you keeping track of our journey, like in your book, creating like a map of where we're going?
Oh, well, I am tracking all of our progress, but more
Right.
of the discovery sort. I did map out River's Meet in a very rough kind of sketch of how we got to the cave and all of that, but I'm afraid on the boat it's very hard for me to track our distance, and then with the fog, it's just very loose. There's no sense of scale. Why? What are you looking for?
Just getting a lay of the land, really. You know, we're hoping eventually to maybe go on an adventure and help Dwathi find a way home, but
Oh.
in general, this is completely unmapped as far as I understand.
One can
So-
make quite a profitable living taking up cartography in this area.
It's dangerous work, but
Yeah.
Meaningful.
Finn was, Aiken was telling me that there aren't really a lot of maps out here. Is that true?
Well, I mean, all of this is very new to me out here. I have to imagine that any maps that existed before the Ashen Veil, and they might not be relevant much anymore. And anything new made in the open era, I imagine, is, well, it's a lot of unmapped territory. That's what we're doing out here. In the grandest sense.
Okay.
But we can keep an eye open, and if you can help me with some of the landmarks that we pass, we can certainly chart our course and make sure we don't get lost again.
I think that'd be really cool.
All the
to-
trees kind of look the same to me, so
will help.
yeah.
Do you think maybe at the lore keepers maybe they have more?
I'm certain they do, but how complete they are, I can't tell. But they have to have. They send expeditions out all the time. They have to know where they're sending people, and they have to know where they've been. So I'm sure they have certainly more information than I do, and probably more than we can find out here. Are you lost?
Yes.
Well, let's see what we can do about that, shall we?
Okay.
All right.
Alrighty, and Drubin has come back out with a large serving tray and places it down. We have your bark tea, and we have your hot meal, your pancakes, and you've got your porridge here. And enjoy. I need to enjoy. And that
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
he rushes back, and you can see very quickly picks up another serving tray, and this one seems to have a large plate with. This one has the you asked for fresh fruit, yes. That was kind of sliced over the top, and a very similar tray of. This one you see some fresh strawberries, sliced bananas, and a selection of blueberries, along with what looks like a very soft pinkish meat, like thinly sliced over some. Looks like it could be like grits or something, and a mug of something piping hot. And he just trots up the stairs with it, and you hear
Can we see the door that he arrives at from where we are down here?
No, you cannot.
Okay, trying to get a lay of like the upper layout. Like, is it up down the hallway, or is it like?
Up the stairs, and from there, it kind of. If you're looking at the bar, the stairs are to the right of it, and they go straight up, and from there you kind of lose sight of
Gotcha.
them.
The doors don't overlook the.
Exactly.
That's okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Just trying to clarify.
That is some very fancy food.
But with a passive perception of 20. Yeah.
My ears are just always twitching.
You hear the door open, and you hear, "My lady, a breakfast." You hear a soft, "Thank you." The door closes.
My lady, you're-
All right.
I'm too busy looking at the pancakes.
I'm too busy smelling the tea and trying to find out if it's better than local or worse.
Give me your choice of. Are you proficient in either nature or medicine?
I don't think so. Let me double check. Neither. No.
Okay, never
No.
mind then.
I will just taste. I will.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, there's bark tea.
It is flavorful. It is bitter.
Mm.
But it's not. It doesn't like pucker the mouth. It's just kind of. It's almost like the tannins of a dry wine, and it is definitely a less available, or no, that's the wrong wording. It is a more readily available source of tea is bark.
Sure.
But it is less flavorful and full to its cousins.
Sure. But at least it's got some flavor compared to what we were drinking in River's Meat.
Yeah.
Oh,
Experience the gustatory delights of Jowdek.
That'll do.
Yeah, I'll just have clocked that
Mhm.
interaction. Not really said anything, but it definitely smile a little bit. Just like, all right, some fancy pants people in town. Well,
Just as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Devour.
As quick as the hot tea will allow. Yep.
and I don't think we need a cart.
No.
It'd be
Oh, I don't think so.
more work than necessary, probably.
I assume so. Again, I can become a horse.
I mean, you might want to do that just for fun.
Maybe. I kind of want to, well, I suppose that won't be until tomorrow when I try to climb the mast again. So,
You probably shouldn't climb the mast as a horse.
No, definitely not as a horse. But I can only do that so many times, and it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. It's not like I can only become a horse twice and then a cat twice. Like it's, yeah.
That makes some sense.
Mhm.
But can you imagine running around in the hills as little horse,
I know.
eating whatever plants are out there?
Probably going to do that anyway, but it's true. It would be
I
easier
would.
as a
I
horse.
would.
Maybe depending on how much time we have.
Yeah, well, let's go see what Gladen has to offer for local color.
I could use some exercise. The hike sounds good.
Trubin, seeing you all stand up, says, right, do you want me to set aside rooms for you? A room, bunkhouse,
How many rooms do you have?
3.
3. And are all of them available?
Well, for this evening, 2.
Do we want to,
I bet you'd get a kick out of ringing one of those bells. We should definitely get at least one.
how much are the private rooms?
The private room is gonna be a gold apiece.
I have one of those. I am
Yeah, let's-
starting to run out.
let's take
of
both
those.
We'll
rooms.
rent both rooms.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So long as we're not intruding on the other guests, I think
Nope.
renting the other 2 rooms should be more than enough space.
And if
for
any
us.
of the crew, like Claudine, particularly, if she requests a room, I'm happy to give up mine. I'd hate to push her into the bunkhouse.
That's fair. Yeah.
She was meant to be on vacation.
Yeah,
I
that's
do feel
true.
bad about that.
I'm going to need to find more work soon so I can have more money.
Well, I'm just I'll take a deposit if that's all right with
Sure.
you. And,
Sure.
all right,
Yeah, I can-
fantastic.
I'll front this one.
Oh, okay.
Thank you,
Let's
Aaron.
go back.
2 gold for the rooms.
Where's Daddy Adergog?
And how
It's a lot more
about
than
an
2
extra
gold.
6 silver for future meals, just as we're here. So.
I'll clock it in.
Sure.
Yes, I did not have a lot of luck finding any money in the road, so I should find more work eventually.
On the hike, I'd like to get a little bit ahead and just like drop a little.
Well, so
coin.
as you then leave the deposit and head out on the road, you look to this again well-trod path, and you can see a couple of carts making their way down, and a couple of people on foot jogging, as if ready for their next step in life, or ready to catch this boat, or here to do something at the docks. Looks like this small structure, even though it's only the one arm that connects, tends to become a little alive when a boat is here.
Hmm.
And as you step on the path to start making your way to Gladen, that is where we are going to end tonight's session.
I want to go to Gladen.
I know, let's go hang out.
Vacation.
Yeah, let's go get a timeshare in Gladen.
Right?
Screw us, we'll play.
Well, folks, we're going to be back in 2 weeks. Or wait, no, we're going to be off for the next 2
Yeah.
weeks, so we'll be back in 3
3
weeks.
weeks.
Oh my gosh.
We're still
Yeah.
on
It'll be
this
June.
Friday and next Friday.
Yeah,
But
our other shows are going, but Melos Machina will be back in 3 weeks. I miss it already.
I know. I know. I love this world,
Just
Scott.
a reminder, I want to drop some
Yep,
coin in
write
there.
that down. We're gonna see what's up in Gladen. We're gonna see if Duathi can get any more work.
Why did we have to bring capitalism into this place?
And we are going to enjoy our time in this little oasis in the rolling hills. But until then, enjoy your time in whatever oasis you are in. Have a great rest of your month. We'll see you next month. Bye, everyone.